You know, we're gonna pop in Mondays. I know we go an hour. So let's get it going, man. I'm glad everybody had an eventful Father's Day. And let's get it going. Let's have some positive discussion today. Okay, so today I know the topic is unresolved issues. You know, we all have them. So I'll start off by saying, you know, unresolved issues are a touchy topic. For so many people, because they are issues that surface when we least expect it. They are undetected. They go undetected for years. Unresolved issues don't care about your economic standings, race, your sexuality, your age, no agenda. They are leeches. That primary job is to devour your hope, kill your faith, and leave you a cynic. Well, today we're going to discuss unresolved issues in hopes to encourage people to start tackling them. So, you know, we do what we do so we can start off with asking y'all, when y'all think of unresolved issues, what do y'all think of? You know, we're going to do what we normally do.
Yeah, I guess it's those types of situations where you think that it's not going to make or break the relationship, so you just move past it. That's when you agree to disagree, so to say. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's the little things that kind of chip away at the armor of the relationship over time. You know what I'm saying? Each unresolved issue becomes more of a tool.
Yeah.
Yeah. We roll with that.
Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean?
What would you
That's
say?
Basically what unresolved issues are, stuff that you don't actually come to a resolution or conclusion about. You just kind of brush past it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's definitely why you're in a relationship. What about you, Darrell?
I mean, first of all, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, I mean, coming from me, I feel like it's one of them things, like I've been in situations before where it's like you may have had conversations before, but you feel like it's not going nowhere. And you just, you know what, I ain't going to bring it up no more. Like kind of like what Drastic was saying, like you're not going to bring it up no more. You kind of like put a blind eye to it. Like you see it happening over and over and over and over again, but you just kind of bypass it like it's not happening. I mean, it's still definitely an issue. It's still definitely a problem, but you're doing your best not to address
it. Yeah, I would definitely say that. Jazz said issues that haven't been resolved, that you either don't want to deal with or are scared to follow through with, so there are no further conflict. So within self and when in the relationship. So I would say, you know, obviously y'all all touched on the part of it I thought nobody was really going to touch on. I thought everybody's going to go back to their past and saying, you know, but it really starts with not dealing with things that transpired when you were younger as well. Mm-hmm. You know, like through your growth, through your developmental stages, through your trials and tribulations, and you bring those issues from one place to the next. Mm-hmm. And it's like a vehicle. So we constantly keep traveling with them without resolving them. And each person we run into, we asking them to really deal with them with us, but we're not resolving them ourselves, or we're not really putting forth the effort to really tackle them before we move on to the next relationship. So a lot of people deal with trauma, or they experience trauma, and they don't go to they don't even meet it head on. They just run from it or just put it in the back of their subconscious, and then they move on from there.
Well, yeah, I would like to touch on what you said about asking someone else to help them, but not to help them with it. A lot of times there's no asking, you know what I mean? A lot of times it's I have these issues and you don't even know that you have these issues, and everyone else around you is dealing with them. You know what I mean? So the conversation is not had, and it's coming out in other ways. And depending on who you're around, they either bringing it up and letting you know that there may be some trauma there, or, you know, you have some unresolved issues. But most people don't go to a person that they're establishing a relationship with and say, hey, I have these unresolved issues from my past. I don't want to bring it into this relationship. Let's, you know, is there, not even help me through it, but hold me accountable for moving forward. If that's the choice that's being made.
Definitely.
So it's nice to say, yeah, I bring it on and I'm asking you to help me, but no, that's not really what happens.
Yeah, it sprung on a lot of people. So I do.
Yeah.
Jessica said, for me, it's something that you know isn't sitting right with your beliefs, but they aren't going to address it for one reason or another. Which, yeah, I do think like our beliefs do. They basically definitely make up who we are. So when you believe something, that dictate how you feel, dictate how you approach other people, dictate everything. So if you don't feel highly of yourself about yourself, then obviously you have unresolved issues on that level.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel like the world's against you, you think that that's the norm because of your experiences. But when you look outside of yourself, you see that that's not the case. So you have to know you have unresolved issues. So I think a lot of people believe it's just the norm to struggle internally.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a normal thing for us to struggle internally. I mean, I don't want to do most of the talking. I just want y'all to really share stories or things y'all think y'all have unresolved dealing with yourselves. I mean, I'll share a few things as well, but I want to get a little background on the panelists. What's up, Wendy? We see you.
Hi, Wendy. I mean, I could set it off. I could say, growing up, we were always taught that, we had this conversation on the webinar, before, where the whole blood is thicker than water. So when you're wounded or you have things that you're dealing with, you're not supposed to rely on friends, anybody outside of your inner circle, which is a family member, to help you through it. So you connect with other people based on something and you keep things unresolved in the past. Like for me, there was a lot of trauma in the household that I kept to myself all through high school, all until I was about 18. Did I let anybody in on what was going on at home? And it wasn't because I said, hey, this happened at home and I need help with this trauma. It was more of Aziz, noticed certain behavior patterns and started to ask questions. And then based on the questions, it wasn't easy. I wasn't forthcoming with the information, but through conversation, the fact that we were actually dating at the time, there was a comfort level there. And I was able to open up about the things that I was struggling with. And only then was I able to move past it. But before then, it's like learned helplessness. It's like, it was the way of life is what I knew. It's all I knew. And I was functioning. So I didn't really think it was that much of an issue until I was around a healthier person. And I realized, oh shit, I got some issues. But at that point, you don't really even know how to chip away at it. So if Aziz was invested in me and didn't take the time to have those conversations or ask questions, I could have took that baggage onto a whole bunch of other people.
So I think with me, it's more like, growing up, I was always taught, real men don't do this and real men doesn't do that. And now at the point that I'm growing, it's like define what a real man does. And what I mean by that is like, I don't cry, I don't show emotion, whatever the case may be. And then when I was in relationships and certain things happened that would trigger me, then I would lash out or I would be reluctant to say what is really bothering me because I was holding that in for so long. So I think for me, one of the things I had to grow up and dealing with is real men don't cry, real men are rocks, real men don't show emotion, real men do this, real men do that. And now that I'm older, like I feel like that's obviously not the right way to go because eventually that emotion is going to come out. Like eventually, you can't hold everything and be bottled up for so long, and eventually, eventually, one way or another, whether it's verbally, physically, whatever the case may be, that emotion is going to come out. So one thing I had to deal with was getting away from the notion that real men do this or real men do that. Like at the end of the day, I had to define for myself what is a real man and what does a real man do.
That's dope. Those two good.
Yeah, that's really important because again, like you said, we're conditioned. We were taught certain things, and we go through life thinking that those things are so until you realize that you're kind of putting yourself at a disadvantage, not even realizing that you are at a disadvantage. You know what I mean? And, you know, I always say this, like, my parents did the best of what they knew. But yeah, it wasn't really, they didn't really do the best job preparing me to be an adult, a healthy, emotional adult. You know what I mean? They prepared me for getting a job. They prepared me for all those things. But outside of that, outside of having a job and a roof over your head and all that stuff, if you're not emotionally stable, then all that stuff, like, you know, all the material things doesn't really hold as much value. So, you know, I think that Darrell, based on your story, like, you know, we were taught certain things and we started our chapter as adults thinking one thing and realizing that we were starting off really unhealthy.
No doubt.
What about you, Drastic? What do you have any stories or anything you would say that you?
I guess the first thing that comes to mind as far as like unresolved issues of myself is I guess, you know, like sometimes you're in a relationship and your partner want to play like mass games, like they want to fall back or, you know what I'm saying?
Up a little bit.
Yeah. I might have to move or something. Am I still breaking up?
No, I hear you.
Right, you're
still
good at
up?
this second. You're good right now.
All right. So I guess I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not too good at fighting for a relationship that I've already had a track record and proven, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm showing up, I'm adding value, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm already proven that I'm invested. Like I'm not going to jump through hoops to prove what I've already been proven. So I've had, you know what I'm saying, some dope relationships in the past where the other person was like fake breaking up just to see if I'll fight for it. And I'm just like, all right, have a nice life then. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I guess that's an unresolved issue of mine where, you know what I mean? Like I'm not willing to jump through hoops to prove what I've already been proven.
Well, why would you
I wouldn't say that's, I mean, if the person's playing games, they have the unresolved issues, you know, and you're just not playing the game. So I wouldn't say that's the case. I mean, I'm sure you were probably taught, maybe that's the thing. You was taught that you have to fight for people, but how could you run after somebody running faster than you? I mean,
I don't know if I've necessarily been taught that, but that just seemed to be, you know what I'm saying, the mentality of some people. They're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I guess this goes back to last week's conversation where, you know what I mean, a person might have that insecurity where it's like, yo, you showing up, you showing and proving, you know what I mean, but they still insecure, don't know if you actually, you know what I mean, maybe I'm not the most animated, maybe I'm not the most verbally expressive, or, you know what I'm saying, some of those other, you know, specific areas or whatever, but, you know, overall,
Oh, we drifted.
We lost them.
Yeah, we lost them.
All right, so we'll go to commercial now. Just
Molly, I mean, I can read something Jazz wrote. Jazz was saying, I basically sum it up by saying she's saying that she had her unresolved issues and insecurities dealt with her feeling masculine because she plays sports. You know, though she didn't really understand how feminine she looked physically, she still, you know, felt masculine because she played sports. She was a little rougher. She felt a little tomboyish. And that, you know, that really had a question in her sensuality, things of that nature, and it set her back with relationships, and she carried them on to, you know, relationships she had and people she ran into and things of that nature. So I can see it made her question her confidence, her identity. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a tough one, because if, you know, you are a woman and you're told a woman is one thing, and, you know, men don't feel like you're sensual enough, or they're telling you you're too masculine, or your parents, or, you know, your loved ones, however it goes, yeah, it's hard to really find your identity if you think feminine is one thing and not multiple things. You know what I mean? If you really don't define feminine for yourself, or not really for yourself, but really have a broader understanding of what feminine can be, I can see how that would be a, you know, a struggle.
Well, it's a similar struggle that Darrell had with being a man and crying and being emotional. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty similar. It's funny. It's not funny, but it's crazy. Not even crazy, but the reality is that, you know, a lot of us go through the same thing. You know what I mean? Like we have we're taught that things are supposed to be a certain way, and you're supposed to do things a certain way, and without realizing that a parent, like, you know, we're when we're developing, we're really developing into learning our self-worth and self-esteem and all those things that go with it. And so when you're putting all these ideals out there that you believe that we should follow, it really strips away at that. And I don't even think that most parents even know that they're doing that. You know what I mean?
I mean, for me, like, kind of piggyback on what Jerry said, I mean, for me, it's like I'm more expressive now. People would probably say I'm very emotional. I'm very expressive now because I wasn't like this 15, 20 years ago because I was taught like I grew up a different way. It took some things to happen in my life for me to understand that it doesn't matter what gender you are or how you identify yourself. Like, people cry. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? People cry at funerals.
Crying is actually a strength.
Whatever the case may be. Right. So even piggyback on what you said, is like, growing up, I never looked at crying or expressing myself emotionally as a strength. And I think I probably speak for most guys, man. But we don't do that. Especially when you're being an athlete. We don't do that. We don't cry. Like, you just get through it. You know what I'm saying? You keep your chin up and you hold your emotions in. And now,
supposed to be stoic, right?
Right. And now, me as an educator, I would never tell my students to hold their stuff in. I would never tell my students not to cry. I would never tell anybody to keep all that stuff about me. Because it's wrong. At the end of the day, it's going to come out. At the end of the day, it's going to come out one way or another, whether you cry.
It comes out in other ways.
Right. Like 100%.
Definitely. Reese added to the discussion by saying she grew up struggling with believing that men could be equal partners in adult relationships, because often she's seen them on the road. They played a role on the outskirts, whether it's in relationships, whether it's father or husband. And I mean, in our culture, I can't say I disagree. I did see a lot of the women holding things down and us having hard discussions with other men. Like, as a man now, it's always a complaining thing about how, women want to run everything and women always want to be right and all this other stuff. They want to strip you of your voice, but at the same time, like, step up and be everything you need to be. And I'm not just saying men don't step up, but a lot of them, they don't really have the discussions that need to be had. And when it comes to, like, emotional discussions, when it comes to building households, when it comes to having them long-term discussions that's going to lay down the plans and the ideals and the things of that nature with helping relationships flourish, they want to stay out of those discussions. And they want to just, get through the discussion. Like, I had a long day at work. I don't want to come home to this. Mm-hmm. So, of course, a person doesn't feel like a priority. I don't know if that's what she's saying, but I witnessed it. You know what I mean? So I know what you're saying, where women were supposed to be home and be strong and stay home with the kids and instill all the faith in the kids, while the men, just went to work and came home and they too tired to even deal. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So go ahead.
So I have a deeper question real quick.
But let Molly talk first and then come back to that.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey, what's up, Molly?
Hi. My issue is it's gotten better over the years, but, my father raised me, and he raised me to be very independent and not to depend on anybody for anything. And sometimes I think that was good, and sometimes I think that was bad, because at this point, sometimes I'd be like, I don't need a man for anything.
Yeah.
Because I do it all now. I raise my kids, I'm working, I'm paying my bills, I've been divorced for a while, and to get back into dating is like, no, I don't need a man for nothing. I could do everything on my own. Yeah. And that's what my dad taught me, because he wanted me to be independent and not depend on anybody for anything. But I think that's bad and good at the same time for me.
Well, it's good that your dad taught you how to be self-sufficient, right?
Yeah.
But you may not need a partner you may not need someone to take care of you, because you guys could take care of a home together.
Yeah,
but you do need a companionship and a partner.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't need all of that.
Yeah. I think that's the. I think he taught you, like we get too caught up, and I mean society reinforces it. We get too caught up being independent. When we on this earth with other people, you got to be interconnected. You know.
Yeah, and also, don't mean to cut you off. Also, my dad was a single parent because he raised us by himself for a little while. So he never had women coming in and out or nothing like that. And I have 3 girls, and it's like that's kind of hindering me too because I see my dad, he did it. I can do it. Don't get me wrong. My ex-husband are in the girls' lives, but say, God forbid something happened. You know what I mean? I can do it all on my own. I don't need nobody or nothing like that.
Well,
So,
I don't think we should start off with the goal should never be to need anybody.
Yeah.
That's too much to put on somebody's shoulders. It's to gain support. Like if you could have somebody, if you need you time, when do you get that? You have somebody that can hold you down, support you in places that you need to support. And you actually can take time to yourself while he watches the children, or you actually can, have somebody to talk to when you're watching a show and you have things to get off your chest. And because if you can't talk to your kids the same way you're talking to a partner, you know what I mean? You can have discussions with your kids.
Sometimes
But it's not the same.
My older daughter, I tell her everything. And
but it's okay. I mean, it's okay to have those discussions. But what I'm saying is, it's the building of it.
Yeah.
Like, your child eventually is going to go off and find a partner and they're going to build something.
She kind of is now, and I'm like in a slump right now.
Yeah,
I'm like, she's leaving me because she's 18. She's going to college in August, and right now she's by her father, spending time with him before she goes off to college. And I'm like, what the? Where? I'm stuck. I can't talk to 8-year-old and 6-year-old like how I talk to her. You know what I mean? And that's why I said the way my father taught me is. It's a good thing and it's a hindrance also.
I mean, it's a gift. It's definitely a gift because you're able to take care of yourself. Like Jerry said, you're self-sufficient. You're able to take care of yourself, but it's hindering you in the strongest places because that connection is a strong and a deep connection. You know what I mean? To have somebody that you can rely on, you can relax in front of. When you need to cry, you're gonna cry in front of your 6-year-olds, and when you really need to release. Now, I'm not saying hide that from your kids. I'm not going to condone that. I think that your kids need to see you in those vulnerable states as well because it allows them to see that it's okay to deal with emotion. But at the same time, that person, they're not going to be able to help you through it the way a partner would be able to, or picking the right partner, I should say. And I think it's not about it being a necessity. It should just be a faith. It should be a nonstop faith. Like you should go for like any other purpose. Like, people disappoint you, but if you know your worth, you'll keep moving and then you'll find the person you need to be with. Like we said, you can go through 1,000 people. The whole aim is to find one.
But that's the thing, I don't want to go through 1,000.
I mean, but you got to know what you want. That's why we're here having these discussions. So you can sort through the people you actually want to deal with, sort through the people you don't want to deal with. At this point, it just sounds like you look at men as more of a burden. More work than a support. And I think that's where it goes wrong. So that's definitely an unresolved issue. Go ahead.
Well, it's an unresolved issue. And also, like, you want an equal partner. And as much as mature as your 18-year-old daughter is, she will never be your equal partner, at least not right now. So it would be in your benefit to sit back, write out what you really truly want in a relationship, what are the attributes you want in a relationship, what you also bring to the table, and then you can narrow it down so that when you do meet people, you won't have to go through 1,000 people because you'll see from the very beginning who you're compatible with and who you're not compatible with by asking the right questions. So you can start by that, and then it can narrow it down so you're not like, we're a woman you're a woman of a certain age. I get it. You know what I mean? Like, who wants to kiss 1,000 frogs at this age to get the right one? But when you narrow your focus, when you narrow what you want, when you know what you want, when you know what you bring to the table, it's a lot easier to sift through the nonsense. So that would be my advice to you to help you through the hindrance is, you're like as you said, your daughter's getting older. She's going to college. She's having her own life. Now it's time for you to get a different type of support. You don't need a man to pay your bills, right? But you can have someone who's going to make sure that you're good in other ways. And I think that's just important.
You can save with the right man helping you.
Yeah. Well, that
you
too.
can build the savings. Like,
yeah, that money you would have paid toward
you
rent
don't have
to go
to
in the
work
bank.
2 jobs and 3 jobs. Now
Yeah.
you can let some of them jobs go, spend more time with your children.
Mm-hmm.
All your energy where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not easy raising children, but if you have the right support, you can put all that energy into the raising of your children, the building of their work, because then they go out and get 3 jobs thinking, okay, working 30 jobs and trying to maintain a household by yourself is the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I was going to say as well.
Generation to generation.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got to decide what you want their future to look like, and you have to be that role model that shapes that future by showing them, like, look, Ma's dating, Ma's trying to figure things out, just like y'all going to have to do the same. But I'm not going to just settle for just anybody, because I think not only I deserve the best, but y'all deserve the best role models in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, she said on Facebook that we're taught what not to want in a man because we don't want to repeat the things we saw from unhealthy examples, but we aren't taught enough how to pick a partner who is healthy. Absolutely. I think we're told what we shouldn't do, but we're not taught what we should be looking for. But the advice that I gave Amelie is that, Amali, sorry. The advice that I gave Amali is that when you go into any situation knowing exactly what you want, you're more inclined to nail it faster than when you don't. So we have to do our part now. Like, I could blame my parents all I want about the unhealthy household that I grew up in and the trauma that occurred. But now I'm 42. So I have to take responsibility. I know where the issues are. I know where the issues stem from. So now it's my responsibility to make sure that I am doing what's best for me and making sure that I put things in practice that's going to make me or allow me to be the healthiest version of myself. And that goes with, when we're meeting a partner. It's knowing it's narrowing it down and really knowing who you want and what type of person you want in your life, and not wavering from that. Not looking at a guy like, oh, he looks good, and and the list goes out the window, or knowing what you bring to the table, because you're not going to be any good to him or her if you don't know what you bring to the table. Definitely. So yeah, I think that we may not have it all right at times, but if we go in with those things, with those tools, it's easier to sift through the nonsense.
Definitely. And Jessica said that she has ongoing unresolved issues about speaking up when something is disrespectful. Like she questions whether she's worth she's worth people stepping up for. And I mean, I can't, like, at the end of the day, I'm as raw as we can be. You know what I mean? So, like, if you in the past have destroyed other people and were disrespectful to other people, yeah, it does bring down your self-worth, because if they allowed you to do it, nobody taught you how to be respectful. So in turn, when somebody's doing it to you, you think it's normal. But if you are a respectable person, you actually step up, you actually believe you deserve the best, then you should expect the best. No ifs, ands, or buts. I can say I went through life with people telling me I'm too picky, and I'm too this, and I'm too that. Resistance is something that comes with innovation. When you're the first to do it, when you're a person that you're around a whole bunch of unhealthy people, and you're like, listen, I deserve a great person. I don't deserve what we see all the time. Like, you trying me or you doing things to me just to see how much I'm dedicated to you or how loyal I'm gonna be to you. Like what Drastic was saying earlier. I'm the same person. I'm not doing all that. Like, health means that I deserve the best of you. So give me half of you, I'm giving you half of me. We meeting halfway. You know what I mean? We're gonna put it all in. So at the end, you gotta go strong or go home. So to Jessica, like, if somebody's not giving you their best, demand it. And if they're not willing to come back, then you gotta deal with it. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be easy, but you're gonna have to swallow you're gonna have to deal with your principles and walk in your principles and swallow those emotions. Because you deserve everything that you...
But first, Jessica, you have to believe that you deserve it.
Definitely.
If you truly believe that you deserve it, then you should be able to fight for it.
And I get it. Society does not, it doesn't, like, it's not kind to the leader. It's not kind to. And that's one thing I would tell people 100%. If you want to be a leader, Understand you got to forge your own path. You got to be a person that sifts through all the non-decision makers. Like they're always going to say, well, what if this and what if that? Like if you have a cheeseburger, you hungry, you got a cheeseburger and a burger, you got to make a decision. And leaders make decisions. And that burger, guess what? That burger, if you pick the cheeseburger, that burger's just sitting there being cold. So it's the same with people. You can't have everybody in your life. So you're going to pick certain people to have in your life. And there's going to be people like, yeah, but you too hard on this person. And I don't understand why you don't talk to this person. And the point is, I choose who I want to speak to. I got to make decisions. If this person don't get along with this person, I'm going to have to pick the one that I actually feel the closest with. You know what I mean? Like, we got to make decisions in life. That's just what it's about. And there's a lot of people that refuse to make decisions and blame and always question leadership. Always.
It's crazy you saying that right now. I'm going through that right now. I'm not going to get into like Jerry and Aziz and Drastic, you know too. Like y'all know what I'm doing on the side. So it's like to hear you all say that right now, it's like number one, like Aziz hit on the nose. You get your principles, man. Once you get your principles, and Aziz, I can't tell you what kind of conversations I have all the time. Like, yo, once you establish your principles, people are gonna fall off. They're gonna weed themselves out. They're gonna criticize you. They're not gonna want to be around you. They're gonna say you're this. They're gonna say you're that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so crazy. Once you establish yourself, what you will stand for and what you won't stand for, whether that's whatever you want to do in leisure or establishing relationships, people are gonna weed themselves out. Like, it's just crazy how that happens. And I'm going through that right now. Real talk.
You gotta witness that, but you know, if you see a path, you see your destination, stay focused.
No doubt.
I mean, don't let none deter you. Once the gates open, guess how many people gonna want to walk through them?
100%.
Nobody wants to open the gates, but they're gonna want to walk through them. So just stay focused. But I think there's just a lot of things I really want people to think about. Like how a lot of people say people grieve in their own time and people deal with their issues on their own time. And yeah, I want people to, and they always say they think for themselves, but I want y'all to really stop and sit back and say, who's making these rules? Is it the people that are healthy actually tackling their issues as they come? Or is the people avoiding those issues? And when it starts building to 20, of course, 20 people are going to say this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
This is the way to do it. Like, well, everybody does things at their own time. You know what difference is? Some people drink when they feeling some type of way. Mm-hmm. Some people get high when they feeling some type of way. Some people get destructive. Some people get violent. Those are unhealthy ways of dealing with things. When are we going to call that out? You can't just be lazy and say, well, people are different. Like if you're a true friend, you'll risk the friendship to challenge your friend to get out their funk because they deserve the best of life. No matter what happens, you're going to have to find the best in you because your life is still present. You know what I'm saying? Like the worst thing that could happen is somebody dying. You know, that's the worst grief. And even in that, you still need support. And even in that, you still have life. And you still have to really uplift other people that's still living. You can't die with the person who passed away. You got to live with the people who's still alive. So that should just show you and remind you how short life is. So when we dealing with just, oh, well, they have to deal with things on their own. Yeah, there is a time, like there's a time that they need to really wrap their mind around it. I can give you that. But it shouldn't take that long where they're going into a funk and they're going into a depression and they're building unhealthy habits. And then now you're not only combating their unresolved issue, but you're combating their unhealthy habits. And if you walk out their life, then you're wrong because you wasn't there when they needed you the most. You get what I'm saying? So it's a cycle. And then what about all the people that are actually doing healthy things? Where's the attention for them? Where's the people advocating for them? They always the people that people are saying, oh, we doing this wrong and y'all need to understand. What makes you think people that make decisions don't understand the other side of the coin? You get what I'm saying? So when we dealing with unresolved issues, the best thing is to tackle them because you want to be healthy for the people you love and the people you care about or the people you might run into. You know what I mean?
And it's also about, doing your part as a friend as well, because when you meet those people that want the time to grieve, or when you have friends that need the time to grieve or need the time to wrap their head around things, or they need time, and before you know it, time passed, the issue passed, and you moved on to the next thing. You already know the type of person that you're dealing with in general, right? So it came out in other ways, I'm sure, where they didn't deal with something, but it wasn't as crazy. So you kind of let it slip under the rug, and you didn't think it was that big a deal, so you guys moved on. So it's really, you know, paying attention to who you are in your friendships as well. And as petty as you may think it is, those little things become big things. But if a person's not dealing with a little thing, they damn sure is not going to deal with the big thing. So, you know, often, you know, people will tell you it's not that serious. Please just let it be. But it's just not that serious. When it becomes serious, they still don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? So I think that we as friends as well need to stop enabling those people too, and really set the stage, set the boundary, let them know that as a friend, I am signing up to hold you accountable and make sure that you are leading from a healthy place. And if you don't want that type of accountability, then we probably shouldn't be friends, because it's always going to come up, and I'm always going to be the enemy, and I'm always going to be the one pushing you, and then I become the parent. You know what I mean? So the relationship is no longer equal. So I think, yeah, we never want to be those people. We don't really want to be around those people, but we also don't want to enable that behavior either. So I think that we should always, you know, take a step back and think about who we are in our friendships. What things do we entertain? What things do we sweep under the rug? And why we are in the place that we are now. Like Darrell, like you're finding out now based on your platform, the things that you're doing, the voice that you're using, that you realize that, me and the people that I were cool with were really not that cool. But it shouldn't have taken, you know, this platform, you speaking your voice, you using your voice for what you're using it for, and you voicing your opinion on the things that are happening around the world, for them to see who you truly are. You know, like I like you, Darrell, like I met people that I didn't want to ruffle any feathers. You know what I mean? Like I thought people were funny and nice and cool and this and that, and I wanted to keep them around. So yeah, I let things slip under the rug. I didn't really deal with certain things. I didn't really call them out, hold them accountable, but it didn't really get us that far. Like it bought time. When we went out to party, we hung out and did all the fun stuff, everything was all good. As soon as we had an issue, as soon as the foundation was rocked, it really didn't, and it turned the relationship upside down.
I mean,
so I learned to lead with who I truly am. And yes, that doesn't leave me with 1,000 friends, but it leaves me with the right friends.
Right. I mean, even to pick now, of course, I'm gonna go with what you just said, and it still ties into the subject of building relationships. It's like with me, it was like there were so many signs that I let go by, a bunch of signs like someone said this or did this, and I like let it go, and that's my fault because I didn't address it there, right?
Yep.
And so, and I'm seeing the Z shake his head because it's like 2 months ago I wouldn't have been able to say this like this, right? So this is my growth. So basically what I'm saying, people listening right now, like there's so many signs that people give you, you know what I'm saying? And now that I established my principles and I am who I am and I'm voicing what I'm voicing, you know, don't get me wrong. But once you find out that certain people aren't with you, whatever the case may be, it's hurtful. I'm not gonna sit up there and say like it's very, very hurtful. And you sit down and reflect like, damn, like this is crazy. Like I thought we was cool. I thought we was down. But once they establish where they at, and you establish where you're at and what you're not willing to budge on, and they cross that line, and they're okay with crossing that line. Wow, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like an epiphany. It's like wow, like that's just how I feel about things. Y'all, like I said before, y'all know what I'm talking about, but it ties into this discussion. But with me personally, it's like once I realize that people ain't really for me, and it ain't really what it seems like it's hitting for, and you sit back and you analyze like, what the hell have you been doing for the last 10 years? These are the same people who you call brothers, sisters, riding with you, whatever the case may be, and you realize it's not like that. I think that was the most hurtful thing for me, but I'm glad it happened the way it happened because it woke me up like I don't have as many friends as I thought I had.
But the key is because since we're talking about the topic of unresolved issues, the key is to, when you're feeling those emotions and when you're having those doubts and when you're losing hope, to attack those things head on. Unresolved issues are issues that you allow to linger, not because you're not going to have issues.
Yeah.
Issues is one thing. Unresolved issues are issues you allow to linger. You know what I mean? Like, you could have been abused as a child, so you think it's okay to abuse your children.
Right.
When are you going to look in the mirror? Why am I not looking at my friends and I'm out of control and they're not telling me I'm out of control? You know what I mean? Like, me and Jerry just had a discussion. I was like, yeah, me and her go back and forth, and sometimes she uses the emotional argument. And I'm like, we supposed to be cool because you're supposed to be able to challenge me with point after point. Like, you're supposed to be help me where my blind spots are. And if you can't challenge me point after point, you're trying to manipulate using emotion versus breaking down point after point. She can be dead right. And I literally have to be like, yo, you was right. I could see where you coming. But she didn't explain it in a way where I'm like, don't come at me with the emotional aspect. Come at me with the fact that I'm dead wrong and break it down to me. Take the time, have the patience. Because when we are friends, I'm going to go hard. I see focus. I see straight ahead. So the blind spots need to get filled. You know, nobody's complete without other people around them to show them where their blind spots are. So I'm only going to be as strong as the people that are there to support me.
True story.
You know what I'm saying? Because I got my blinders on. Like, I want people to have equal and healthy relationships. So I walk up and sit down with somebody on the street and just be talking to them about, you know, strengthening a relationship. And Jerry, you know, she would have to walk up to me and be like, yo, listen, this person's not even hearing. Actually walk up, you know, I need that support where it's like, okay, because, you know, I just want to save everybody, you know, at times. And there's times that I understand, like, that person can't be saved at that particular time. You know what I mean? But you need those people that's going to keep it raw with you. And you understand their intentions, but they can be straight to the point with you and let you know where you're going wrong. And I said, the emotional argument, and I'm not saying you can't be emotional. What I mean by the emotional argument is your voice gets pitchy, you start whining. It's like, I'm abusing you because I'm talking to you, I'm calm. And, you know, and then you're trying to get over just with emotions. There's no argument to it. There's no strong comeback. I'm not talking about when we're going point for point and you breaking down points. That's different. Being emotionally intelligent, I want to understand how you feel. But tell me how you feel. Don't just respond without explanation and expect me to get it. You get what I'm saying? But I just want y'all to see, like, the unresolved issues is not like you, like, yeah, I see all these people turn their back on me. And then, like, we got that drastic last time talking about he's a loner. And I'm like, and then you like, yo, back against the wall, I'm a loner. And I'm like, you see, like, Amali and Drastic, they actually work together. They actually have the same understanding. You know what I mean?
Look at that,
the connection, right? And you're like, okay, if y'all both have that same understanding, why y'all not linking up to actually build a strong fort? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if there's two people out there that's like, there's a bunch of people that aren't great to us out there, you know what I mean, or haven't been good to us out there, why aren't the people that are actually feeling that same way, why y'all not having discussions to actually grow? Because y'all got a distorted view on society now. All y'all see is reality is the bad things, none of the good things. But reality is both. You shape it. You shape it. I don't care what you feel you don't have control over. There's a lot of things like the government, certain things we don't have control over. But one thing you know you have control over is how you deal with things.
True story.
How you attack things.
Yeah.
What you're willing to fight for.
No doubt.
Are your ducks in a row?
No doubt.
You know what I mean? Are you looking to the left of you, to the right of you? You're looking behind you and you know that you covered. You know what I mean? You can be a sniper. Go ahead. Be a assassin. But when you're gone, nobody even realizes it.
Yeah.
But that's how I am, though. I'm a loner too, like really bad. Like, I can stay in the house all day, hide my car in the garage, and nobody know if I'm home or not. You know, sometimes I feel like I do better by myself than with a bunch of people. Even though my daughter be like, God, Ma, you know so much people. You got so much friends. I was like, they're not all my friends. you can't call everybody a friend. And she'd be like, oh my God, Ma, you're so mean. I used to being, a loner,
Well, I think that, because you like to do low-key things, you need to find other people like Drastic that like to do low-key things as well. So it's okay that you're not out and about all the time and you don't want to go out all the time, because that gets tiresome, and sometimes what we like to do for fun changes as we get older. So it's not about just accepting the fact that you're a loner. It's really just saying, hey, I like to do other things recreationally, and I need to find people that like to do the same things I like to do.
Yeah, because
so you don't have to spend that time alone either. You can have people come over. You can, you can have small intimate gatherings with your friends, and you guys could all do a potluck, or you could all cook in the kitchen or bake something, or there's so many things you can do at home. You just have to find like-minded people, the people that like to do the things you like to do now, and then form relationships with those people.
Yeah, because I do things, like I will pack our bags, me and my kids, and we'll go travel. But to say for people coming over to my house, I don't like that too much. I'll go to your house, spend a couple of hours, and come home. But mostly, like I said, I will pack my bags, my kids' bag, we'll get in the car, we'll go. Yeah, I work a lot, but I do take time out to take them on vacation. Like I was on vacation a couple of weeks ago, and I packed them up and we went to Clearwater, just out of the whim. I do stuff like that. But like I say, to actually people come and hang out my house, no.
So what would you say the actual unresolved issue that you have in common? Trust.
Yeah, you guys have trust, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like trust. And it ain't trust in, you can say it's the world, but you live in it. So it's not trust, it's trust in your ability, because we all have picked the wrong person. Why do you look around and you see some, like I literally seen women that have been abused. I have been friends with them and would not leave the situation. So I'm like, even if I go over and rough homeboy up, you're not going nowhere. You know what I mean? So like, I had to sit and watch this occur, and they went in a relationship, they left the relationship eventually, and they even still hopeful in relationships. You know what I mean? Because they had the support to get over it. They had the support to come to challenge them. Because I explained to them, like, yeah, it's wrong for somebody to abuse you, definitely. But after you don't leave for a while, it's wrong to stay too.
No doubt.
You're basically saying that the person thinks it's okay, and you're saying it's okay. It's not okay. So her worth wasn't the greatest, and we had to sit down and we had to talk. But I'm gonna put it out there, and I'm gonna say exactly what's going on, but at the same time, I'll work through it with you. So it's not all about just saying the direct stuff. It's about saying it, but actually working through it with the person, having the patience to explain where you're coming from, having the patience to explain why you're doing what you're doing. So if you have trust issues, it doesn't stem from when you actually came out the womb. There's something that's there that's like, you know what? People let you down. Right? Like that's the thing. And then you got 20 people, hell yeah, people let you down.
Yeah.
Like I've always been the positive person in the room, and everybody's like, I don't know what this dude's sipping, but the world ain't like that. He gonna find out. And they just sit back and wait for me to find out. Versus actually coming and sipping on the same juice.
Like, for example, at my job, I go in every morning, have a big old smile on my face and everything, and people are like, oh my God, you're so cheerful and bubbly, and deep down inside, I'm like, get away from me. Get away from me. But I've always been like that. Like, I'm very, like, friendly and stuff like that, but then I just go in my corner. If you say something off the wall or say something that I be like, no, that don't sound too right, I'm gone.
So you don't even have the discussion?
I do, depends on who the person is.
Okay.
Depends on who the person is. If it's somebody I just met a couple of months ago, I'll be like, I just met you a couple of months ago. You're not that important. But if I had a friend that I've known for years and years, you know, I don't want to lose that friendship. So I will talk to that person. But if she's not or he's not hearing me, I'm going to. Because I'm not going to go back and forth with you on a subject that you just don't get. So we just agree to disagree, and I'll see you when I see you.
I mean, you know, y'all already know we don't believe in agreeing to disagree. But the point is, I mean, if a person, you argue with the people you care about, it's just what it is. Like, you're going to have difference of opinions. And I think that I really strongly believe if it's love, you will find that common ground.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep searching. And sometimes you do need to take a step back, you know, and let the person, if you know you're 100% on point, sometimes the person has to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you realize you're not on point, you got to still be that person that's accountable and go to them.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not sitting here saying that the healthiest relationships are like the greatest.
Right.
They don't have debates and you don't argue. We're saying the healthiest relationships are looking at arguments as a chance to actually get on the same page, not looking at it as a stress. So I get it, man. If you go to work grinning and all that, like you're giving out all this positive energy that you really don't want to give. So it's draining.
Yeah.
But that's why you drink. Because I don't go to work smiling. Like, I'm who I am. So I walk through the halls like, and they just always say it look like get out my face, or they have all kinds of opinions, but anytime they need to talk, I'm there to talk with them. I'm just not a small talker. You try to small talk me, it's not gonna go far. Like, but we talk about something that, like, I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions that deal with you because I want to get to know you, to know the human being. I don't have time, like at my age, I don't have time to have associates. I'm not a politician. I really ain't running for Congress. I'm not running for the presidency. So I really don't have to kiss babies. You know? So I get it, but you gotta believe that there's people out there that's like-minded, that's gonna support you, because your kids are gonna get older. So like, you're the woman that we talk about all the time. Yo, they invested in their kids, man.
Yeah.
They invested in their kids. So that's like, and how dare you tell a woman not to invest in her children?
Yeah.
How dare you? We're telling you, invest time in your children, but I'm telling you, invest time in yourself so your children can see what it takes to invest in a relationship.
So you could be a well-rounded parent as well.
Right.
Like you could say, you like to be by yourself, which is, I don't agree with that, but I would say that, how do you truly know who you are outside of your kids if you don't really interact with people? It's like you getting your driver's license but never driving. Are you a good driver? You don't know. I don't drive a car. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's you have to put things to the test. And if you want to be well-rounded and you want to be a role model, I mean, we bust our ass as parents, right? To make sure that we are providing for them and doing all the things that we should do as parents. But at the same time, we want to make sure, like, we want to give them something to look up to. And seeing them see us create relationships with other people is really important for them. Because again, they'll be repeating the cycle of you and your dad, where you saw him being a single dad, and you thought it was okay for you to be you being a single parent and doing things on yourself is a badge of honor. You know what I mean? Like, you don't necessarily want your kids to see that because you want them to foster healthy relationships. But I want to go back to the point that you said about arguing about, you met somebody a couple of months ago, they say something that you don't agree with, you're like, whatever. But the same way that you don't want to lose the friendship with the person that you had a long time relationship with, you could be gaining a friendship with a person that you only knew for a couple of months by addressing something that you don't really agree with. And based on their response, could pull you guys closer together, and you realize that you guys are more alike than you thought. So it's all about giving choice. Like, am I going to argue 10 hours with somebody that I just probably met? If I really want to give the relationship a fair shot, I probably will, because after that 10-hour argument, then hey, we could be friends, we can't be friends, you move on, but you're also giving choice. They know where you stand. Even in a couple of months, like, we interact with so many people, and we make an impact sometimes. And even though you met a person for a couple of months, they may be thinking, wow, this girl, she's dope, she's positive, I really want to get to know her. They said something crazy. You could use it as a teaching moment and teach them that, hey, what you said was a little out of line. I would like to discuss it. And they could be like, you know what, you're right, and take a page out of your book. You know, so it's really about, you know, making sure that you are not running from relationships and only, yes, I'm going to put more time into my arguments with Aziz and I'm going to put probably somebody else that I just met, right? But at the same time, like, I'm not going to write off the people I just met either, because they could be, you know, they could be a part of my village. They could be, you know, I could probably bring them into the group circle, but I wouldn't know that if that I allow that one thing that they said to turn me off, and I'm just like, I don't want to deal with them.
Definitely. Like Jessica was saying, how could you truly get to build a village and build a, you know, a group if you're not gonna put yourself out there? Like right now, let's go with that. You started out on Facebook. Look at you. You're here.
Yeah, I know.
Having discussions. You're putting yourself out there. So that's what it's all about. But let's go back to the fact that the unresolved issue is trust. It's just like me growing up. I used to stutter when I was young. You know what I mean? So I had a stuttering problem because my mind, to this day, my mind still races. Like when I write, all of that. My writing is horrible. Everything is horrible when I'm writing. So like my mind is always racing so fast. I'm just putting things on paper, or I'm talking, and I used to stutter. But what did I do instead? Fight all the time. I couldn't get out what I needed to say. I fought. And you know what somebody told me? Who does that? Who does that? Terrible twos.
Yeah.
They can't express themselves, so they call them terrible twos because they can't express themselves.
Right.
They always swinging and throwing things and tantruming, and it was like, you always tantruming because you didn't know how to express yourself.
Right.
I could have just said, yo, homeboy, you wrong, X, Y, and Z. Or I did what I did, and I'm like, yo, that makes perfect sense. Learned how to communicate a little more effectively, and I didn't shut up since. You know what I mean? So like, and I don't fight as often. Like I haven't fought in years after that. It limited my fighting, it limited my interaction with being physical, and I was able to articulate my points. So most of the time after that, when I fought, it was self-defense more than it was because I was lashing out because somebody said something to me I didn't like. And I couldn't. So I already knew that was an insecurity of mine. That had nothing to do with the people, because they was just calling me big lip boy. They called me what they seen.
Right.
You know what I mean? They was calling me things, and I mean, when I looked in the mirror, I seen the same thing. And it was my problem. But that was an unresolved issue that needed to be resolved so I can be a better human being. So when you look at your friends, they're gonna challenge you. Like, if you don't have the time to really put in the effort for a relationship, yeah, you don't have the time. You're not gonna argue, but they're gonna say the hardest things to you. Like, you better believe you're gonna have back and forth. That's the point, because they're gonna challenge you to be the best you can be. And if you have a bunch of yes men around you, I mean, you can feel empowered, but when it comes down to it, you're not the best you can be. You want people who are going to go at you, going to make sure you know what I mean? Like, my people tell me, yo, that looks dumb right there. Reread that, write that, this and that all the time. I miss the typo, like always. Always typing fast and then sending. So there's so many things we have unresolved issues about, we insecure about. And people are gonna label you for it, right? But the faster you tackle it, the more you know as a person, you're a better human being. And you're not gonna be able to tackle everything, so you have people in your life that's strong where you're weak. But the support should be there. I mean, Drastic, you've been quiet, what up?
Yeah, I don't really got much input, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just on the sideline observing.
Yeah, but what about the trust issues?
I disagree with you on that. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily avoid relationships based on trust. You know what I'm saying? It kind of goes back to, I think it might have been a couple of weeks ago. You said you've come across great people and you're like, yo, I probably would be good friends with this person, but this is just wrong timing, so I just got to keep it moving. You know what I mean? It's a matter of priorities and what I'm focused on, you know what I mean, in my life at the time. So, like, yeah, there's times that I might go out and, you know what I'm saying, be social and, you know what I'm saying, but then there's other seasons. There's time and seasons for everything, you know what I mean? So there's time and seasons where I'm just, you know what I mean, let me just be in my zone, handle responsibilities, and that's all I'm focused on right now is handling responsibilities, you know?
You know why I say the trust? Because in one of our first discussions, me and Jerry was talking about, you know, the fact that we build a village, and you was like, that's special, but that's not everybody. That's a rare thing, right?
Yeah.
Other people aren't like that. And I'm like, but why aren't other people like that? Why do you believe that? It's lack of trust in humanity.
Yeah.
Like, it is your experiences, but it's lack of trust in humanity. Because why do we have this platform? Because we believe other people can be in healthy relationships. If we stop believing that, that stems from trust. We believe, so we trust that other people can. Once we say, oh, other people can't be like us, we're not going to teach. We're not going to educate. We're not going to inform. We're going to keep everything to ourselves.
Yeah, we're not going to have these Monday night
sessions. That does deal with trust. You better believe that. So yeah, I'm just going off of the discussions we had, and then piecing those things together. And then I heard Amali say the same thing that you said maybe 3 discussions ago. So I'm like, yeah, they worked in the same job. They got some things.
Yeah.
Where they live must be a lot of flakes, man. Like, you know what I mean? So like, they looking at the world from different lenses. So when we're talking to them, we preaching to the choir. Because we live in New York City, so there's so many different people out here. Perfect guy can live in a smaller town where it's like, yo, this is for the birds. Like, trying to get a connection in a village here is gonna be difficult. So we get it. We're not fools. We know that people are in different places, but in that same situation, there's people with the same issue. Why aren't those people coming together? Why they complain about the same issue when they could actually be each other's strength?
Yeah, I don't know. For me personally, it's not a complaint. You know what I'm saying? That I go to work and come home. Like,
no. I'm not even talking about the fact that people aren't trustworthy. You know what I mean? That people aren't always on point, because that was one of the statements you made. That's what I'm saying. Like, people aren't.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't even remember what context that was in, or what I said, or how I said it. You know what I'm saying? It sounded like something I might have said, before. I don't know. Definitely. But you know what I'm saying? Like, right now, I'm definitely in the process of evolving. So some of the views I had, you know what I mean, last week, I might have a different view this week. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I don't know.
That's why we're talking about unresolved issues. Yeah, that's why we're talking about it, because we want people to really put them out there. You know what I mean? Like, there's times I'm arguing and I'm like in the house and, I'm discussing things, and it's like, obviously there's 3 women in here and we're sitting there having a discussion, and I'm being out-talked, and, I was like, they're out-talking me, and they raising their voice, and I'm just sitting there like, I don't have a win in here, man. Like, you feel defeated, right? But if I allow myself to just give into that emotion, then an unresolved issue is going to come up. Once I'm talking to that one person alone, there's going to be some problems. I'm like, now I can't bully you, right? So I'm going to come aggressive. I'm going to be extra. I do know that this is going to occur because I still feel a way about what's happening. So instead, I'm like, yo, listen, let's each person talk, whatever, one by one. Let's get this accomplished, instead of getting quiet and saying, yo, there's no reason to even do this. I always think that's the cop out. Like, there's no reason to do this. These are people you care about. Yeah. There's always a reason. So that's how the unresolved issues happen. That's how they transpire. So I'm saying, you said that last week and you still chasing money this week. I'm like, I think true currency is people. True currency is people. You got $1 million, like you said you're going to talk to your butler. Remember, we had these discussions.
Yeah.
You're going to talk to your butler and your maid, as opposed to dealing with other people you're not paying to be your support. Listen to the things you say, and then you're trying to convince the world right now that there's no trust issues. You know who you're talking to, right, brother?
Yeah, like I said just a few moments ago, views that I had even last week might be different from what I have this week. You know what I'm saying? Just to put it out there, like, I don't got all my T's crossed and all my I's dotted, but you know what I mean? My relationship with God is my most important relationship these days, and I've been diligently, you know what I'm saying, like reading the Bible for hours every day. So, you know what I mean? That's like the framework for where I'm trying to evolve to. You know what I'm saying? So, that's where I'm at with it. So like some of the views that I might have had prior to reading a certain scripture might be different now because I done read something in the Bible. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
You're not by yourself, man. I definitely agree with you, homie. And I think Jerry and Aziz will tell you the same thing. There are some things, like I remember about a month and a half ago where I said something crazy, and I felt like I was ganged on, man. It was crazy, man. Like, by the end of the day, you sit down and you understand it's like if you feel the way you feel, but everyone else feels a totally different way. You gotta look at that. You gotta take that into perspective. Like, who's really crazy here? You think you sane, and you think what you're saying is straight. And then Aziz even asked me, he was like, "How's that working out for you?" And I had to sit back like, wow. I had to sit back like, wow. You know what? It hasn't worked out good for me, man. So I gotta do something different.
Definitely. I mean, I think you are evolving and everything, but I don't know who, whatever God you worship and faith you have, I don't know one faith that tells you to disconnect from people though. Like now when we talk about building close relationships, God is definitely the first relationship, or your faith is definitely the first relationship. But your faith is what you surround yourself around with the right people that share that like-minded faith, that reinforce that faith. Like I said, how could you truly make God a priority if you're not having people around you that challenge you to be the best you can be? And you can't see all angles. You can read something and a person can shed light on it 10 times more. That's why pastors have gifts. That's why they pastors. If everybody could just read the Bible and understand it, you need them. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you still need the support. That's why they say you should do it in numbers. Anything you believe in, you should believe in numbers.
Yeah, that's a fact.
When you have unanswered questions, you have people there to support you. So you're not even doing the best on that level if that's the case, because you should have people surrounding you that actually lift you. You know what I mean? But she wanted to talk about arguments. She wants
and we can get there. I just want to say something to Jessic about, like, you know, a lot of times people are not going to challenge what you just said, because if somebody, you know, is putting all their time into building a relationship with God and reading the Bible for hours, it's like, that's a positive thing. Who's going to challenge you to do that, right? Who's going to say, you know what, you shouldn't be doing that? But to Aziz's point, like, just because it's a positive doesn't mean that it's still healthy. You know, like it makes you, it brings something to your life. It's a belief of yours, and that's great. But if it's taken away from you connecting with other people, then you're working on being the best version of yourself for who? For what? To sit home and do nothing with it? It's like I go to the gym, right? And I'm working out, and you don't think that when I get to a comfortable, not me per se, but when you get to a comfortable body image or whatever the case may be, you're not going to throw that two-piece on. You're not going to wear those short shorts. You know what I mean? Like, it's you're gonna want to flaunt the things that you work so hard on. So you know what I mean? Like, you're working
yourself.
Yeah, like
I have all the information if you're gonna be stingy with it.
Yeah, exactly. Because you could be paying it forward. You could be connected with other people who also put God first and who also have the same beliefs and principles as you. And then you guys could connect, and you guys could build something with that as well. But you're never going to build with someone if you're just like, I'm just going to be home reading my Bible. What you said about the bag, work in the bag. I don't know what you get in the bag. Yeah, get in the bag and read the Bible. Like, yeah, that was a thought a couple of weeks ago, so that could have changed. But the point is that it's very self-driven, which is not, you have to have a level of self-awareness to connect with people, but your goal should be connecting with people.
Yeah, ultimately in the end, but I'm saying, like, I know Aziz, being a basketball player, you know what I'm saying, didn't start teaching people how to do crossovers until you put your own work in on the court. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I'm just in that stage right now where I'm putting that work in so that I can properly understand stuff, so that I can present the best version of myself that I can be. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't want to be.
So you working on you.
Yeah, I'm working on me. Yeah.
That's what I heard that I hear that statement all the time. I'm working on me. and then you meet people, and then you got to compromise certain portions of yourself because it's a compromise. So really, who makes you the best person you're going to be? A good group.
Mm-hmm.
A great group. You by yourself can tell yourself anything. I look good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm the best looking dude in the world. Like, you can do whatever you want when you by yourself. The best people, like the only way to really be the best person you can be is surrounding yourself by greater people. Everybody,
yeah, but you don't
working on themselves. That's what tells me all the time. You just don't. You really aren't in a place to really be around people because you're here, and that shows me right off the tip that you are in a place where you are ready to really
connect with people.
Place, because I see the way your wheels turn. You in a whole different stratosphere, brother. Like, I don't know what you're still working on because you articulate well. You got a lot to offer. You know, you question things when you don't understand them. You got a lot to offer, and then you spend an extra year working on you instead of connecting with others. And you already have these strong attributes. We're not talking about Aziz coming out the womb and learning how to play basketball. We're talking about now we already know how to play basketball.
Yeah, so we can learn how to cross over together.
So I'm going to go play ball together.
Yeah.
Test it out in the park.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know I'm good if I'm not testing out in the park?
Yeah.
You're not even testing it. So how do you know if you're your best? If you're not putting yourself out there to be in relationship, to see if you're your best.
Yeah.
To see if you learn from your past mistakes. To see if you still open to have people in your life that weren't the best for you. Now you know nonsense, and you know that you deserve the best, and you know all these things, but you got to practice it. Mm-hmm. How long we gonna work on self? Think about that. How long does that take?
Well, while Jessica speaks,
I think it's a feeling, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know when it's time, like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like.
You think so?
Like you're not gonna compromise your principles and your core values, but what do you do when you're still when now you're trying to develop a new set of principles and core values that differ from the previous core values and principles that you had? Like, yeah, you had I had a good foundation. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I was a moral person. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to do I had great, you know what I'm saying, morals and integrity. But now I'm trying to bring it to a higher standard based on, you know what I'm saying, a new level of understanding that I didn't have before. You know what I mean?
Well, so how do you reach that without other people?
But bigger than that, the minute that you decide that you want to change your life, you actually just put it into play. Like, that's how that works. If you decide that, you know what, there's a shift in my principle, I believe this at one point, but now I believe something else, then you put it into play and you move on with that new principle. And then you that doesn't mean that you have to disconnect from people in order to apply it. It just means that when you're meeting the existing people that you have around, you can say, you know, there's been a shift in my principle. I believe this, now I believe that. Give them choice to see if they still want to deal with you because you're changing the contract and the construct of your relationship. And the new people that you meet, you can say, you know, this is who I am. This is what, you know, what I stand for. This is what I believe in. It's just that simple. It's like the minute somebody, you know, no longer wants to be heavy, they go to the gym. The minute that you're in an abusive relationship and you don't want to be in an abusive relationship anymore, you leave. The minute that you at a job that you can't stand and you don't want to go to work anymore, you leave your job. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I know that it comes across as very simplistic, but it is. It's like when you're fed up.
The contract, though. Sorry, but
what did you say?
Basically, what you're saying is no. So I said, but you changed the contract. So I'm listening to what you're saying. So it's like going to the gym or doing this, doing that. At some point, you change the principle. So then the day you're going to lose people because
you have to know.
You got old ways, whatever the case may be. Once you change your principle, or once you change your contract, people got to get on or get off. You're going a different direction.
You have to have the conversation to give choice.
I want y'all to really think about this. We talk in these extremes to make the discussion seem like everything goes in extreme. But you have to be unhappy before you want to change.
Yeah, that's it.
You have to think that something's not working. That's a process.
Yeah.
So if you're not keeping people in the loop of what's going on with you, you're gonna come out of nowhere and these things are gonna be changed. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying we look at like we're entitled to things when we're attached to other people. But really, when we attach to other people, they are part of our journey. So how do you disconnect and say, listen, I'm just going to do me and figure out what's going on with me and not take them along for the ride? Like, they're a part of you. So you keep them in the loop of what's going on. Yeah, over time, maybe y'all might grow apart. Maybe y'all might not be going the same direction, but at least you attempted.
Yeah.
So,
you give choice.
Yeah, so if there's nobody I know that just woke up and like, I'm unhappy in this relationship.
No, you're right.
After one day.
That's a good point.
It's been something that's been going on forever, and they just wasn't speaking up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So nobody just randomly just wakes up and say, I'm gonna make this drastic change. You know
well, let's go. So we have about 10 more minutes.
Huh?
And you were gonna just Cheese comment on the side about currently struggling with her current relationship with a partner who doesn't like to argue or go into detail and prefers not to talk about things when she prefers to air things out respectfully.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could definitely address that. I think you're in a healthier way, you're in a healthier place. And we always say with your strengths, the other person should follow your lead. If they're not willing to follow your lead and you really think that's the best way to be in a relationship, y'all on separate sides. You're going to have a different discussion. I think everything starts with having a dialogue, having a discussion. Everybody runs away from ultimatums, but when it comes down to it, if a person is not budging, ultimatums is going to come. It's not you giving them the ultimatum, it's them not budging, so you have to give them the ultimatum. It don't just come out of nowhere. So if the person is not arguing back and forth with you or having a discussion or airing it out when you want to air it out, then you have to have a different discussions because your principles are, different discussion, because your principles aren't up to par. They're not on the same page. Because if you believe, y'all both believe the best way to do things is discuss it and have a strong discussion or air it out, then that should be simple. But if he believes, I don't even want to talk about it, and you believe we should talk about it, then you're going to have a different discussion about your relationship as a whole.
Absolutely, and that's going to
happy in that relationship where you got to bottle things up because you're going to have to concede to what he's doing because he's the stubborn mute. He's not budging. So either you're going to stay in a relationship, concede to what he's doing, and like actually cater to his weakest side, or you're going to use your strength and tell him he has to come your direction, or y'all got to have a different discussion. And I guarantee he's gonna have the discussion with you.
Because all it's gonna breed is unresolved issues. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that although he doesn't like to argue and he doesn't want to air things out, I'm sure it comes out in other ways. I'm sure he's showing that he's unhappy in certain areas and not saying it to you directly, but he's showing you. So I do think that, or if he's not showing you, then really deep down, like when people suppress a lot of things, they're not really dealing, and that's also not cool either. So because that also comes out in other ways, and he may blow up out of nowhere and you're like, what the hell just happened? So I do think that our advice to you, Chi, is to have a discussion not about the actual argument at hand, but talk about the overall type of relationship that you want versus what he wants, and how are you guys supposed to move forward together if you don't have the platform to discuss the things that are the disconnect in your relationship. If you never discuss the disconnect in your relationship, it doesn't ever go away. They just come out in other ways, and you'll be fighting a different fight instead of the arguing. You guys, the communication starts to break down. You start to get resentful. He may, and it happens, people start to find reprieve in other relationships with other people. Like they'd rather be with their friends than come home. And, it comes out in so many different other ways. So again, I think you should have the conversation, not just about the argument, but it's bigger than that. It's about the belief about how you guys are supposed to have a healthy relationship if you don't have the platform to air things out when you need to air things out.
And I want to thank Jerry because I was lazy by saying I got to have a different discussion. I should have mapped out how the discussion should take place. But she basically covered that for me. So I'm going to say I apologize for that because I should have been a lot more clear on how you should address it going forward.
I mean, you threw me with the alley hoop, and I just sent it.
Alley hoop? Alley hoop?
Is that how you say it? I don't know.
Alley hoop.
Oh, what? So, well, you guys get it.
we you know, we always start off with a topic and then we kind of chop it up, which we want, you know, we don't want it to be just us just educating and that's it. We want everybody to have a discussion. I'm glad everybody was able to open up. You know, drastic measures, man, you know, we happen to be family. So I go at you in a whole different light because obviously we represent one another. And I always want you to be in the best place you're gonna be, brother. So like,
appreciate it.
Yeah, build that strong structure, man. So when y'all stacking together, man. You know what I mean? If 1,000 is coming in from each party, you stack a lot quicker.
Yeah.
I want you to know that. So you could go out and bust your behind, but if 10 people busting their behind on my end and you just busting your behind, you'll never catch up.
Okay.
So that would go with Darrell's situation on what he's fighting for now. That would be one of my jewels I drop. It's why one situation involves over the other. Because everybody in our communities is sitting here with individuality while the other communities are building together. That's what's going on. So you got to really be focused on what's being fed. The best thing is people. You got to, anytime you have a barbecue, life is great, right? Everybody brings something, right? You have a potluck, life is great, right? Everybody brings something. So you could barbecue anytime and be poor because everybody bringing something. You're not funding the whole barbecue. You see what I'm saying? It's different when you're funding the whole barbecue. Drastic, you're funding the whole barbecue. I want you to have a potluck. You know what I mean? In your life, where people for thought is coming from every angle. You know what I'm saying? And everybody eating.
Although we can do everything by ourselves, we don't have to do everything by ourselves. Okay. And the badge of honor should come from us connecting with healthy people instead of saying, hey, I could do this by myself and, you know, I'm strong because of it. It takes a lot of strength to build relationships with other people. It's not easy.
Definitely.
You have to be vulnerable. You have to communicate. You have to factor in other people's feelings. You have to align on healthy things, like make sure that your principles are aligned, your beliefs are aligned, you guys are moving in the right direction. Like those things are not like health. Those things require some type of work. And again, you can get it, but like Jasmine said, you have to sustain it. And if you can't sustain it, then maybe you need to reevaluate the things that you want and make sure that you have the things in place in order to sustain it. But that's the badge of honor. Like I got 3 solid friends. Ooh, I'm a superhero. You know what I mean? Because it's not when you put in a lot of work, and it's not the work like, damn, I got to show up every day. But there's times when there's conversations that need to be had and you don't really want to have that conversation. But you know what? You signed up to show up and be present every day to have those conversations. There's times when I'm being held to a standard or being held accountable. I don't want to be held accountable. I just want to do my own thing. I want to be a loner like Drastic and just kind of like, you know, do my nails or go get my nails done and, you know, just on a Saturday, just do my own thing. But that's not what I signed up for. You know what I mean? That's not what I said I wanted. So I can't just tap in and out when I feel like.
Say, listen, I need a me day.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not in the cage.
Yeah, exactly. So I think when people think of group, they think of a trap. They think of, oh, I have to factor in all those people, all those other people. But you should want to do it because the reward is in the togetherness, and that's something that you should want. So yes, it takes us, an hour to get out the house all together. It takes me 20 minutes. You know what I mean? But that hour's worth it because then we can all leave together. You know what I mean? And I think that when you really are honest about what you truly want, and you are okay with the fact that yes, it may take me an extra hour to get at the house before other people, and rather than the 10 minutes that it takes me, it's worth it to take that extra hour. And I think that you need to find people, or just everyone needs to find people that they can build with, that they don't mind taking that extra hour with. And I think that's what it all boils down to.
Definitely. And I know we leave at 10:30. I want to answer Wendy's question real quick. And she said something about how do you find like-minded people if you already have trust issues? First off, when you have trust issues, you bring that lack of trust to the relationship. So it's gonna be hard to find like-minded people because, well, let me take that back. easy to find like-minded people because there's a lot of people with trust issues. So
Yeah.
the key is to find out where them trust issues come from, and to find the root of them, and actually go in wanting people around you that you can't trust. So that's where it starts. Finding people that don't perpetuate your trust, the same cycle of you having those trust issues. Find people that are doing different things, going through different things, moving in different directions, you know, that you can't actually trust blindly. But, you know, it's 10:30. I want to, you know, thank everybody for showing up. Drastic, God bless you. We thought she wasn't going to show up.
I know. Thank you for coming.
Way to show up. And Molly, second time. And well, always, man, always. You know, Jasmine, Jessica, Wendy, Chi, you know, Juice. See you.
But everybody, thank you again for having such a great discussion. If you guys didn't already do it, please forward, share. It's been a long day. Share on your Facebook page. This is another great discussion that I think that other people could truly benefit from. So I'm just putting it out. I think that the more we put it out there, the more we can educate, the more that we could foster thought, the more people could start communicating in an effective manner. But we appreciate you guys all being here. And Daya, good night.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right, bye, guys.
If you're not busy tomorrow, 6 o'clock tomorrow, man. If you're not busy, 6 p.m. tomorrow.
All right.
All right.